Would you guys go on a trip 4 days, 3 nights with just your mom on a remote island with no internet?
I'm sorry, no leh.
I'm sorry, Mama. Sorry, I can't.
It's either I kill her or she
对不
kill
起了
me.
妈妈。
To be fair, I think she wouldn't like it also.
Huh, why?
她被我气死吧。Hi, Hazel!
It's Sarah.
And I'm Jermaine.
And welcome back to another episode of Clarity's Podcast. So Jeremy did this poll on her Instagram recently, asking our listeners and our viewers for comments and feedback on what you want us to talk about on Hash Podcast.
I was quite surprised because I got almost 10 messages
Okay.
asking for the same thing. Can you girls talk about mother-daughter toxic relationship?
Specifically toxic.
Wow, is this a thing that many people are going through?
It seems like it. Are you?
Well,
Okay, I gotta be honest, before we wrote this episode, I was telling the crew that this is weighing down on me a bit.
Oh.
Like, I don't think I have an unhealthy relationship with my mom. But I don't think it's exactly healthy either. You know what I mean?
I think this is something that everybody struggles with, you know? Actually, because we were talking about mothers today, I just wanted to say that I decided to pull this out. My mother crocheted this.
Wow!
Yeah. Like some 30 years ago.
30 years ago.
Dude,
Yeah.
that is so cool. That's talent right there.
Yeah.
So how would you describe your relationship with your mom?
Ooh,
In one word.
2 words, Ken.
Okay.
Extremely complicated.
Oh, not even just complicated, but extremely.
What about you, Jeremy?
Tumultuous at times, but I think now it's getting better. Yeah, through several reasons. I think when she was younger, her emotional regulation was not as good as it is now. Right? So now it's a bit more peace and harmony.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, for me, I think I'm gonna use the word improving.
Okay.
That's
I
nice.
hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like a universal thing though.
Right? Like, I find that I tell my friends more things than I tell my own mother. And sometimes I ask
Oh.
myself, why?
I think when things happen, sometimes it's sort of like in us that you just want to run to your mother. But I think because a lot of us have gone through this thing where we tell them things and the response that we get is not the response that we want, eventually we start pulling away or eventually we stop telling them things because I know the kind of response I'm going to get and it's just going to cause me heart pain.
Right. This is the case that happened to me growing up. Whenever I told my mom something, I found that like 95% of the times, her immediate response would be, no, you can't do this. Don't do this. It's not good for you. Sometimes I ask her why, and then the standard response will be 就是不好咯, which means it's just not good咯. There is no rational response
Communication,
or like
right?
communication or a legit reason as to why I shouldn't do this. It's
Yeah.
always just because it's not good for you. So over time, I feel like it's very hard for me to communicate to my mother about certain things. Like even now, getting into relationships, I don't tell her until I'm like, half a year in. And like buying of properties, I don't even tell her that, hey, I intend to buy properties or like intend to buy a new home. I only tell her after I've been viewing certain places. Then I just like casually show her, oh, this is the places that I've viewed. What do you think? Like,
It's kind of because you want to just avoid that whole nagging situation.
right. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, I've already done it, so nothing you say can stop me.
Yeah.
So don't nag.
I also find that I have lesser patience with my mom than with my friends or even my dad.
Correct.
I have lesser patience with my mom.
Even
Why
with
is
your
that so?
dad?
Even with my dad. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm more patient with my dad as well.
Yes.
Actually. And I find it baffling. Like, my mother carried me for like 10 months, and growing up, she was usually there for me more than my dad, right? Because we always want to run to our mothers. But after growing up, I find that I actually have less patience when facing her, and that's so weird.
Someone was just saying to me the other day, one of my best friends said, actually, you wear so sexy and stuff, right? Your mom has never said anything. Like throughout my whole life growing up, there's a picture of me 5 years old wearing a bikini and like dancing to Britney Spears. And my mom has never cared. The only thing she cares about is, girl, not cold at the studio. You want to bring a jacket, not cold. Like even that annoys me. I know it's coming from love. I'm like, Mommy, no lah. I have a jacket. Mommy, don't worry, I love her so much. But just, I don't know why. The fuse is so short for your mom.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mom. I'll try to work on my patience, okay? Like, seriously. So, what do you think is exactly an unhealthy mother-daughter relationship? Because in all honesty, I don't think my relationship with my mom is unhealthy.
True, I agree on my end, but I have seen unhealthy ones. where a mother is very overbearing. So I've seen mothers that call their daughters every day, well into their 20s. Every day, you have to pick up her call. She's calling you nonstop for anything, a question, just to check in. Where are you? Da da da. Every single day. My mom never calls me. Mommy, call me. Like she never ever calls me. I'm the one calling her. I call her when I need help. Yeah. She asks me for help maybe once a year. I ask her for help like once a week, kind of thing. Yeah.
See, that's the thing, right? Like, whatever age you are,
Yeah.
somehow you'll just run back to your mother.
I need my mommy. Yeah,
Of
for sure.
course.
And sometimes when we need help from them, it's like instant help, right? We need them instantly. But when our mothers reach out to us for help, my mom will say things like, I'm not in a hurry, you can take your time. Me too. And I feel so bad.
She's like, don't worry, work first. Okay, later you call this for me. And
You know what my mother tells me?
What?
See, you ask me to do something, I do immediately. I ask you to do something, you take forever.
But is it
that's
true?
not true though.
Silence is consent. Okay. So yes, controlling your every move, controlling what you eat, controlling who you see, what you do.
Yes, recently I was just speaking to one of my friends, and she's a mother. She's in her mid-40s.
Okay,
So she has a daughter about like 14, 15 years old. That's the age where, they are a bit more rebellious and stuff like that. So she tells me her daughter goes on Instagram, social media platforms basically, and talks to strangers. Basically, these strangers reach out first. So daughter is like, okay, I can just say hi back. And she's the kind of mom who would check her daughter's phone. So basically, she found text messages where the daughter goes all lovey-dovey with this stranger that she met online. They say things like, I love you, I miss you. And the mom basically found out lah, and she was fuming mad.
Is it a scammer? Is he in his 40s pretending to be a 16-year-old?
Who knows?
A valid
It could
point to be
be,
concerned
yeah.
about. But I think from the daughter's point of view, she feels betrayed because, hey, how can you just unlock my phone and check my text messages like that?
Understand.
Yeah, honestly, she reminds me of my own mom. Like, she's constantly telling her daughter, no, don't talk to this person. No, you can't go out till this time. No, you cannot go and have lunch with your friends. Like, it's always no, 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 no. But I told her, this will push your daughter away in the future because this is exactly what happened to me. Like, my mom did this to me, and I found that, in my 20s, I never want to tell her a single thing anymore.
So do you guys think it is a mom's right to go through their daughter's text messages, like social media and things like that?
It's a fine line.
I can understand that it's coming from a place of concern, especially in this day and age. Danger is all around. And I
Right.
think it's a mother's instinct. You just want to protect. But at the same time, we've all been there. That 14, 15-year-old girl texting people, whatever it is. And you feel
text?
like...
Oh my god.
You got no friends?
Not strangers.
No,
not
I never
40-year-old
text strangers at all.
Okay.
But at that age where you're finding yourself, you feel like a grown-up. You feel like
Right.
an adult. You want to be treated as an adult.
You want the freedom.
Correct. You feel like, oh my God, you're clamping me down. You're cramping my style. So it's tough.
Right. And I think the execution needs to be done properly.
I don't think it's right.
You don't think it's right?
I mean,
I don't think it's right either.
I don't
Yeah.
think my mom has ever gone through any of my. I mean, back in my day, it was a physical diary. I don't even think she's gone through my physical diary.
Maybe she doesn't even know you have one. Like, I don't think
Yeah.
my mom went through my phone because maybe she doesn't know how to use it back then,
But now, the new generation, because they're so much more
Right.
technologically savvy.
yeah.
Here's what I think.
Yeah.
I think a lot of parents, unfortunately, feel like they own you.
That's
not
crazy.
wrong. Okay.
And because of that, they feel like they have the rights to access every part of you because a lot of them refuse to see that you are your own person and that you're an individual who is not 100% them. And I'm not saying that it's an Asian thing or I'm not saying it's a Singapore thing, but I think maybe in this part of the world, I think I've come to realize that there's a little bit more of that feeling. In Western countries, for example, yes, the circumstances are different, but it's a little bit more normal. 18 years old, you
move
get
out.
out of the house.
Culturally, right?
Culturally. And it's not that getting you out of the house means anything, but it's like you own your own life.
Right.
I've done as much as I should, as much as I can. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to be here for you. But it's that understanding that you're your own person. You got to go figure life out yourself.
Right.
And I feel like, I believe in this very, very strongly. I feel like the best gift you can give your kids as a parent is resilience.
Let them go, right? Let them experience the world for themselves. Let them
Correct.
get hurt sometimes when they need to. You can't protect them from everything in this world.
Correct. I know that you feel like being a parent, you're that hand that is supposed to protect that flame, but they're gonna face so much stuff in the world. And if you're always there, hovering over them, helicopter parenting, right? How are they gonna face anything? Like, how are they gonna stand up for themselves? How are they gonna bounce back from things when
Right.
shit happens to them?
We talked about helicopter mom, but some moms are just perpetually not there. There's just an emotional disconnection
Yeah.
between the two people. And I've known of friends who really crave for maternal accompaniment
really?
or company, but they just never get that.
Maybe that's why you go find it somewhere else, right? You find someone that will take care of you, like, like a mom would. It's mommy issues, right? We always talk about daddy issues, but yes, you can have mommy issues too
Right.
if you don't have a strong maternal figure in your life. Yeah.
I actually saw a quote that said, people who always find the need to take care of others, maybe it's because it's healing a part of you that always needed to be taken care of.
Yeah.
On the other hand, have you guys heard of trophy relationship?
Trophy relationship.
Means what?
This is when a parent sees his or her child as a trophy. Yes, always showing off their child to their relatives and their friends and colleagues, and always expecting
Achievements, right?
their child to get straight A's, always be the best in life, so that you can always show him or her off.
It's one of those
wow.
aunties at Chinese New Year and then
Oh,
they gather and then
God.
like, hey, my son going to medicine school yours
Do people still do that? Do you think we'll do that when we're aunties?
No, never.
I don't go for
think
these
so.
gatherings, so I don't know.
I don't think so, yeah. I don't think my mom ever engaged in that. Like, oh, my daughter, da da da. My dad, on the other hand, like, if we're meeting like a business partner, right? Completely nothing to do with the media, he'd be like, yeah, this is my daughter. Yeah, she's doing this. Oh, and she's a radio DJ. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, so
Silently tells you that he's proud, right?
yeah. But
that's
he's
so
very
sweet.
cute. But my mom is chill. She doesn't try to, how do you say it? Like you always see in these in Hollywood, right? Sometimes the mom pushes the daughter to be a Hollywood star,
Okay.
an actress, because they wanted to be one, but they never could. So they're trying to fulfill that unaccomplished goal in their life
Through
and
their kids.
Through their kids, yeah, and then show them off as a trophy, right? But I don't think my mom has done that
Actually,
ever
I
to
don't
me.
think my mom has done that as well. But she's very proud of me.
Yeah.
Like she always tell her friends, support my daughters, this video, that video, help to like and share.
Like and
that's the way.
share.
Yeah, she doesn't say like, oh, my daughter's a radio DJ, she's doing this, she's doing that. But she sort of like shows me off in other ways that are cute lah. That are cute.
So cute
Yeah.
lah.
You know, I have a friend who is very close to her mother. Like they are best buddies kind. They go and dye hair together.
Oh.
They celebrate birthdays together. And then they have all those like fine dining atas meals together, which is so rare between mother and daughter.
It's like best BFF
Correct.
relationship. Would you guys go on a trip 4 days, 3 nights with just your mom on a remote island with no internet?
I'm sorry, no leh.
I'm sorry, Mama. Sorry, I can't.
It's either I kill her or she
对不
kills
起
me.
了 mama, really.
I'm sorry.
Why?
Hey,
But why?
to be fair, I think she wouldn't like it also.
Huh, why?
她被我气死吧。
But why is it, that we find it so awkward? I just saw someone post on Instagram the other day, gonna be spending some alone time with my mom. I feel a bit awkward. Then she was like, story by story reporting, right? She was like, oh, actually, it's quite okay, guys. I'm doing all right, thanks. But she's like, yeah, I'm nervous because I'm gonna be alone with her.
Right.
I can understand that. And I think everybody has a very different relationship with their mother, right?
Yeah.
The kind of toxic is a spectrum of its own. The kind of healthy is also a spectrum of its own. Something that I really like that I've seen in like modern day parenting, people our age, slightly older than us, who are having kids now, they do this thing where they try and go on like one-on-one time. Even when they have multiple kids, they're like, today is this kid's time. Tomorrow is this kid's time. Or like I would see a friend like pick the daughter up from school. She's 7, I think, the daughter. And like, oh, we're gonna go for girl time. I gave her 2 options. She chose this day.
Oh, that's so
it's
nice.
very cute.
Yeah.
So sweet.
I was watching an episode of The Kardashians where Kim Kardashian did the same thing.
Oh.
She says, "Oh, you know, with my kids, like each of them like different things. So I try to give them a good experience with each of the friends, right? So for Saint is her son. He really loves football right now. So I took him and all his friends on a private jet to go to watch an Arsenal game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Must be great to be rich.
Are you adopting? I want. But yeah, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
That's obviously very extreme.
Yes.
But still good parenting in her own way.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And actually, not just for mothers, I would like to add a note for fathers as well. I have one friend, guy friend. So he tells me growing up, his father is always there for him by ferrying him to and fro school. And you know how much commitment that is? Waking up before you have to get to work just to send your sons to school and then picking them up after school, especially exams period. He always make sure to fetch his son to and fro so that he can save the time traveling on public transport
Oh my
to study.
gosh.
And honestly, the time spent in the car, you know, when you
Bonding.
send, fetch, it's a very important time.
Yeah.
It's true, yeah. I mean, my mom was very present, and I really love her for that. She quit her job to be, full-time present for us. Fetch me to school, fetch me back home from school for like probably 8 to 10 years
Wow,
of my
lucky
life.
you.
And the thing I look forward to the most is because I get so hungry, because recess you don't eat much, right? So by the time school ends, I'm so hungry. She's always waiting there in the car at the school gate with like a hot tub of food that she just brought from home. And I will eat it in the car while we're driving home, and I'll tell her about my day. Yeah.
So
and I'll like
cute.
wolf
So
it down. I miss that. Yeah, that's nice.
So cute.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh.
And she still packs food for you to bring to the studio, actually, right?
She does. Yeah.
That's so sweet.
I love
Okay,
her.
here's a story from our PD.
Yeah.
Okay.
A very different story, actually.
Oh.
She says, my mom is a tiger mom.
Oh.
I'm currently 27 years old, but I'm still navigating a very rough relationship with my mom. Growing up, my mother had always been very strict with me. As the eldest daughter, everything I did was scrutinized. I needed to get good grades, I needed to do the chores, take care of my sisters, and set a good example for them. So she said at the beginning of this year, she decided to take a leap of faith and book a solo trip to South Korea for the fall season. She only told her mother 2 weeks before the trip.
Oh.
When her mom found out, she was furious. And since then, they haven't been on speaking terms because the mother just refused to speak to her.
Why was she furious? So she would never allow you to go on a solo trip, even at 27 years old. That's why she was furious with you.
Why would she not allow you to go on solo trip? See? Her mother would always say no without providing any reasons. That's very typical
Her
Asian
voice
moms, right?
is quivering and I
I
cannot
know.
take it.
She wrote this script and she told me that she teared up while writing it.
think-
It's so hard to
yeah.
navigate this relationship.
Yeah.
We understand.
I know. I mean, the thing that you need to understand is that dealing with moms is like dealing with any human being. They all have different things that are going to trigger you, and especially as a mom, right? They tend to trigger you so much, but it doesn't mean that they don't love you.
Correct.
Right? It doesn't mean that you don't love them. It's just complicated, right? If it can be complicated with your friends, even more so the person that gave birth to you.
And I feel like for mothers, sometimes they feel very stressed out as well because they brought this person into the world, right? And they feel responsible for their upbringing. They always want to make sure that their sons and daughters turn out to be fine people. They can be alone in society. They can be successful. I think this is the goal of mothers. Put them in the role of a grandparent. Let's say today you give birth. The way they treat your child would be so different from the way they treat you because they are free of that shackles and that responsibilities, right?
Oh, 100%. Have you seen
Right.
all those posts of like parents who send their kids to their parents and be like, how come I never got all this? Like, how come you do all these things to them?
Yo, you should see the way my father treats me and Kira, my niece.
Oh, there you go.
Now she tells everybody to 往后退. It's Kira's playground now. Like, we don't have a space anymore. No, not anymore.
Yeah.
Super
I
cute.
also used to think about this, right? And I thought maybe the reason why we lie in the first place is because we already know what we want. This is like logically speaking, right? You're not doing anything extreme, you're not doing anything illegal. You know what you're doing and you don't see anything wrong with it, but you just know the kind of response you will get, like the solo trip.
Correct. And no reasons provided. That's the worst in my opinion.
It's also probably good to go back into the past, right? If you know how your mom grew up, how did she grow up? Was she in a house where there was no communication? Was she in a house where it was abusive, or if it was very toxic as well? Because that's probably where she learned it. Nobody taught her how to be better. And our moms, a lot of moms growing up in that age didn't have the tools to understand what they were going through. I don't think most of them even know what generational trauma is. It's such a new term. All these things, understanding your trauma, unlearning your, your habits.
Yeah.
These are all new things. So yeah, be easy on them because I think they don't know either.
Then would it be fair to say that it's unfair that you're learning these things and trying to work on them while they are not doing anything to unpack them, and then expecting yourself to have to be the one to understand that they've gone through all this?
But that's the thing, right? They still are not equipped with the tools to unlearn them.
You are working on your own trauma, not for anyone else. This goes for your mom, goes for your friends, your family, anyone in your life could be projecting their trauma onto you. But you work on yourself for you, not for anyone else. Your goal into working on yourself is to make yourself have a better life.
Yep.
If your mom treats you this way and you have already worked on your trauma, you can be like, okay, but this is just the way she is. I've accepted that. I move on with my life. Some people can be taught. Some people will never learn. You have to make your peace with that. And
Correct.
if you are in a relationship with your mom that is abusive, when they say blood is thicker than water, what it means is not that family over everything. It actually means that you make your own family, anywhere that you are. So if
Correct.
you're in a very, very bad situation, don't think that you are tethered to it forever. Yeah. And that's why a lot of my female friends in their 20s actually move out of their family home because of their relationship with their mom. I know one girl actually, toxic relationship, same, no, always like emotionally abusive. Moved out, and that distance apart brought them closer together. She eventually moved back in, and now they have a wonderful relationship. Yeah, so it is possible. Of course, financially, it's not possible for everyone, but it can be something you work towards. Yeah.
I don't think I have an abusive relationship with my mom, but moving out indeed improved our relationship.
Hey.
Some time apart, space apart. Every weekend when I go back now, I find like my patience level has like gone back.
True, right?
You know?
Risen a little bit.
Yeah, but maybe after one day with her, it goes back down. Never mind, I take the week to recharge again. Next weekend I go back, okay, it's at 100% again. So it helps.
Yeah, I miss my mom too because I'm not home most days, and she will text me like she doesn't even know where I'm going half the time. Like I'll just be like, oh, okay, landed in Vietnam. She was like, huh? You're going to Vietnam? And then she texted me the other day, girl, I haven't seen you in so long. I felt so guilty, But when I get home, everyone's asleep. And when I leave the house, no one's awake yet. So no one gets to see me. I miss her too, honestly. I
Why
do.
she never texts me that? I haven't seen her in a while, so.
Okay, well.
I think I also want to take this time to say that we don't know the kind of relationship that people out there have
Correct.
with their mums.
Yeah.
And I want to say that some are genuinely irreparable, and that's okay. If you feel like you got to cut them off, that's okay. I'm not saying to be, a terrible child. I'm not saying to forget where you come from. I'm not saying to, be ungrateful or whatever
Correct.
it is. But we've seen some stuff online, and some are just so brutal. It's like, go save yourself, babe. Like,
Right.
if you can't save that relationship, it's really okay. I've seen people say things like their mothers saying point blank to their faces like, I wish you don't exist.
Oh my
Then
God.
how?
I mean,
What you want to
that's-
say to them? That they're being ungrateful? Please lah.
We don't know what they go through, basically. It could get very, very bad. I think for most of us, it doesn't. If it can
Yeah.
be salvaged, please try to. Yeah.
Correct.
Absolutely. And also, right, I feel that, okay, generally, not for everybody obviously, but generally, things that mothers do all comes from love, from concern. It's because they want to protect you. It's because they've seen their fair share of shit and they don't want you to go through that. We understand that, right? But I think in every action that they choose or any path that they choose, it can vary in results. The same action by a mother on, let's say, two different people could really vary in results because that child is their own person.
Correct.
Child's different. Everyone is different, yeah.
It's very, very different.
There's no textbook, is what we're trying to say. Like, it's very hard to be a
Yes.
parent. It's very hard to be a mom as well. I can see how the way that you're raised, right? I mean, especially with your mom, someone that you're very close to and you respect a lot, you can adopt some of those traits. Like, if you think about how am I similar to my mom? How do
Yeah.
you guys think you're similar to your mom in the way that she acts, things that she does?
It's actually very hard for me to apologize. And it's very hard for me to say sorry for something that I've done. It's something that I've had to catch myself it still gets very hard for me as I'm about to do it. But it's because my mother has never apologized to me. It's something that she just doesn't do.
Maybe she doesn't know how to.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, maybe some people, they just think that you just pick up where you left off and, okay, everything's fine, dandy again.
Remember MP Carrie came on our show once and she mentioned that if you treat your parents as human beings, it makes it a lot easier for you to see where they're coming from. Don't see them as your mother, as your father. See them as normal human beings.
Because you put them on a pedestal, right? But nobody
Yes.
is perfect. I think you can also adopt good traits from your mom. Like I think my mom is always willing to help people. She's genuine about that, and I see that kind of same quality in me. Where if you need my help, I will always try my best to help you because I've seen how she does it, right? And she likes to host people, for dinner, and I like to do the same thing as well,
Right.
right? Because growing up, she did a lot of that. Growing up, she also did a lot of shouting at home. So I also like to do that. As in, she would get quite defensive, I think. And so much so that her voice is something, like I saw one of our PDs have a similar experience where your mom's voice, especially when it gets into like the frustration, I can hear it from a mile away. I can hear it even if I'm not in the same room. I know what her emotions are. And growing up, I had to think to myself, do I avoid it? Do I try to leave? Do I try to fix it? Like, I was always planning in my head. So now, even now to this day, she's calmed down a lot, but it still triggers me. Because growing up, I had
Right.
a lot of that, internalized a lot of that. Yeah.
For me, my mom, she always likes to help the needy. And she is always very thrifty. She doesn't throw things away easily. So I think this is something that I picked up from her as well. Yeah. So this is something that I'm grateful for. But for our listeners out there who might be experiencing a tough relationship, a rough one with the mothers, what do you think are some ways that we can go about navigating this and make it better?
Sometimes you want them to learn, right? But you can't be the one to tell them because you're always going to be a daughter in their eyes, right? And you're not going to be someone that can get through to them. If they are open to speaking to a third party, you can try, right? You can try. There are a lot of family therapists out there that can probably help to mediate that relationship a little bit.
Oh my God, but a traditional Asian mom would never want to go there.
Yep.
No lah, so paiseh. We are not going to go there. Standard reply.
It's
you know?
possible, yeah,
Yep.
but doesn't hurt to try. Yeah.
I think what is frustrating for a lot of people is that we always say, sometimes you can't teach someone what they don't want to learn.
Yeah.
We always use the excuse of age, of they've been that way for the past 50 years. What makes you think it's going to change now? But I think what's frustrating for people is that it still doesn't make it right.
Correct.
Especially when certain behaviors are so toxic or let's say detrimental to someone's, life, mental state, mental health.
I feel like this next comment I saw online resonates with me a lot. This person says, I've come to terms with it. We got on better as adults who live separately. The little time I spend with her now is usually nice because we are better together in small doses. So, just meeting up here and there. Sometimes it's better than living together. Another person says, you can just invest this time on healthier relationships with your friends. You don't have to keep harping on the fact that, you and your mom are this way.
Yeah.
Sometimes just move on and you will seek clarity.
Oh, seek clarity.
Hey.
At the end of the day, you will always love your mom. Your mom will always love you.
Correct.
That will never change. You don't have to feel guilty if you can't take so much one-on-one time with her. You don't have to feel guilty if you want to move out, right? So that, you can better your relationship with her. Or just, better your own mental health. Don't feel bad about it is what we're trying to say, right? I mean, they also want best for you. They just can't see that what's best for you is maybe some time apart from them. It's a tough pill to swallow, not gonna lie.
So obviously everybody knows my relationship with my mother is very complicated. But I feel like my struggle for the longest time has always been, I'm not happy that you've hurt me this way, but there's something in me that is desperate for a mother and desperate for my mother, and I will go back there. But there's always this fear in me that the same thing is going to happen. And then it happens. And then I'm like, damn it, I knew it. But then I find myself crawling back there again.
I think it's because you, at the very base of your heart, very, very deep in your heart, you still respect her a lot.
Correct.
You still crave her validation and her affection, which maybe growing up, it was something that she didn't have the time to give to you, or in the way that you wanted it. So you always crave for like her approval. And even though you know you're not going to get it, you still want to try. Right? And it's okay. It's okay that
I think that
you
is
crave
your
that.
way of trying to improve this relationship. And as long as you keep trying, she'll feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Really?
once my best friend said to me, she said, it's precisely because she's your mother. And it's exactly that. Like, it's the one person in the world that will always make you feel that way. You know?
Correct.
No one else can cut
No
you
one
like a
else
mother.
Can come this close
Yeah.
to make you feel this way.
Yeah. But I think just don't take one moment in time as the whole of time, as
Correct.
eternity, right? Hang in there with anything, right? A bad situation doesn't mean that it goes on for life. I've spoken to quite a few friends. For a lot of moms, before menopause and after menopause, they're like two
So different.
different people, completely different people. So hang in there. I don't know if your mom is going through menopause, but I realize, that it's a pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When my mom was going through menopause, wow, I felt like I was going through menopause. It was like crazy,
It's just the emotions and the
exactly. But now that it's over, she's a lot more calm. So, okay, to wrap up this episode, what would you girls say to your younger self about your mothers?
A study actually showed a time graph of how much time you spend with your family, and your mom over the years. It peaks when you're young, in your teens, and it falls drastically from your 20s onwards. Cherish the time that you have with them, living in the same house with them, because you're never going to get that back ever again.
Wow. That's so wholesome. I feel ashamed of what I'm about to say.
No, go ahead. You do you.
What would I say to my younger self about my mother? Maybe not tell her so many things. I hate to be so brutally honest, but I feel like if I actually didn't tell her or let her in about so many things, our relationship could have been better.
Oh.
You, Zura?
I think I would say that just because someone is a mother does not mean that you should expect unconditional love out of them.
You know what? One day, if you're lucky, we're all going to be mothers. And our listeners, one day you're going to be parents yourself. So
Sorry,
maybe
I'm
try
just going to mother your kids. Thank you very much.
We'll see about that. So what I'm trying to say is maybe sometimes stand in the shoes of your parents and think from their point of view. It's not easy on them as well. And maybe just give them the love that they have always shown to you as a kid growing up.
And like what MP Carey said, see your mom as a human. Yeah.
If you have something you want to share with us from the bottom of your heart about this episode or anything at all, you can always drop us a DM on Instagram at itsclarity.co.
That's right. Don't forget to listen to us on MeListen, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you consume your podcast. Turn on the notifications. And I also just want to say that you do what's right for you. We acknowledge that they as mothers have done the best or what they think is best for you. But at the end of the day, you're your own person and you should be able to navigate things yourself, whichever direction you decide on.
I love that. And if you want to see the beautiful crochet top that Azura's mom crocheted 30 years ago, which is still in fantastic condition, I have to say, go onto YouTube. We're there as well.
All right, thank you for tuning into this episode and we'll catch you guys next time. Bye!
I came out of the room, I was like, look. And she was like, oh, it's like 30 years old now. Yeah, I was bored when I broke my leg, so I crocheted it. I was like, huh?
So you learned that she broke her legs.
I knew that she broke her leg in an accident. I didn't know that she made it while she was bored.
I'm sure she was so happy to see you in this.
Aww.